Hey, welcome to the Tales of a Gearhead podcast. I'm your host, Stacey David. This podcast is brought to you by LMC Truck. Keep them on the road is their slogan, and they supply the parts to help you do that. Also, Cornwell Tools, the choice of professionals, and hot rods and enthusiasts alike. If you want quality tools, Cornwell's the place to go. Let's get to it. So today we're hanging out with our buddies from Sparkburn Hot Rods, James and Misha. We're going to talk about the industry a little bit. If you don't have any information about them, you can check them out on their website. It is what? What's the website?
Sparkburnhotrod.com.
Yes, sparkburnhotrods.com. They do some fantastic work. You're going to see some of the work that they've done on the Cheetah here on the show. And so guys, we were just talking about Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, it's a shame.
And so you were a musician some? Or
No, I played with my stepbrother when we were in high school. We thought we were really good.
Yeah.
He took off and became really good.
So what kind of music did you play?
We were like more heavy metal, because it was that era.
Yeah, that era. Okay. Yeah.
So he plays everything. He's really, really good at it. I mean,
Awesome. Is he professional?
He
Does he make money doing it?
Well, he did. He used to teach, if that counts. But
Okay.
he builds houses for a living.
Yeah.
Typical musician.
Yes.
He's a carpenter. He needs to move to Nashville.
He's a carpenter. What can I say? He's a Finnish carpenter. He's really
Yeah.
good at that too. I mean, he's just one of
Yeah.
those guys,
So, Misha, what kind of music did you grow up listening to?
I grew up listening to country music, but I grew up playing piano, so I did
Really?
a lot of classical music
So you're a
as
piano
well.
player. Really?
Yes.
Are you good?
I used to be good.
Okay.
I'm not probably good anymore.
Okay. So did you play country or what?
No, in piano, my teacher kept me mostly classical.
Of
and
course,
so
one of those teachers.
She was,
Yes.
but she was a great teacher. And, she puts you through your paces. So.
Okay, so in country music, who did you like back in the day? Who'd you listen to?
Well, I grew up when the female country artists came up big, like
Right.
Shania Twain and all
Okay.
of them, and Faith Hill and Martina McBride.
Oh
so.
yeah, those are all great artists.
Yeah.
I'm still a Waylon.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Waylon was so unique.
I'm still a Waylon guy.
I have, obviously been around the music industry forever, and I've heard all kinds of people do impersonations of Johnny Cash and
Yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
I have never heard anybody pull off Waylon.
He's amazing.
No.
He just had a real unique voice.
Oh, I
he was
loved it.
cool.
He does.
Yeah, no, I never got to see him, obviously, but
Yeah.
It's okay.
Too late now.
Too late.
Yeah.
I know.
Past that.
No, we listen
Yeah.
to my phone is usually set to a newer country artist, Cody Jinks.
Yeah.
I put him on him and just put it on my speaker in
Yeah.
the shop, and they listen to what I listen to.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the connection between music and cars? I mean, it's obviously there. You got
It is.
whether you're
Yes.
into hip hop or heavy metal or classical or whatever. It seems like people that are into music are also into cars. What do you think
Yeah.
about that? Is that
Well, I think it's kind of the
right brain, left brain kind of thing?
Yeah, well, I think it's another avenue for them to express themselves, because people that are into music and professional at it, I think, have an expression that they have to get out all the time.
Yeah.
No matter what they're doing, it could be remodeling their kitchen, it could be, everything.
Sure,
It's they have a strong personality about what they like,
Yeah.
and I think that's how.
Yeah.
That's how I think it relates, I mean, personally, I kind of.
What does the psych major say about that?
The psych major, well, I think
So is that
about
crazy?
cars.
You
we
are
already-
nuts.
We already
Absolutely
knew
nuts.
that. That's been established for a minute. No. I think there's a journey, though, because in music, you're describing a journey in life, and cars take you on
Journey
that.
was one of the
So-
best bands.
It was. It was. But I think, because when you're driving around, I think about, because we love to go drive old back roads and
Yeah.
take photos.
With old
and-
junk cars.
With old
Yeah.
junk cars.
Oh, yeah.
And
'Cause
you
people
have to
still
have
wave.
music to go with that, because
yeah.
it helps to encapsulate that journey. And you'll switch a song depending on the road you're on, or
Oh,
you'll switch
absolutely.
a song depending on what you're watching, because music accompanies that journey.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, here's the question. Favorite driving song?
Oh.
Okay, now I know there's different things for different moods, so let me kind of clarify it. Okay, you get in a car, it's a hot rod, a lot of power, fast. What's the song?
Man.
Oh,
man.
gosh.
You put me on the spot here. Let's see.
Misha?
Fast? Oh, yeah, no, you're going to have to give me a
I'm
second
a
on
Leonard
that.
Skinner guy.
Okay,
I'll
which
put-
song though? Give Me 3 Steps? Or
I
mean,
like
it's-
Give Me 3 Steps. Sweet Old Alabama's cool, but it's a little played out, But
Yeah.
I like some of their other stuff. Yeah, actually, I don't know the names of it, but I've worked with guys that are really heavy into, music, and I actually like really, really early Bob Seger. That's not your main music, you know,
Yeah,
the
Seeker's great.
early stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I really like that stuff.
That Roll Me Away song is one of the best.
You know, the early Bob Seger where he's still up in Detroit.
Uh-huh.
You know, I dig that stuff, you
Yeah.
know. And I didn't know about that stuff till I had Tyler working for
That's
me.
true. He did bring
He
all that.
had a
That
band
was
and stuff
great.
back in the day, and
That
he would
was
bring
great.
just early stuff like it was black
yeah.
and white. You know, it was good
Yeah.
stuff.
I tell you what, for me, you can't hardly get away from CCR.
No, God no.
You know,
I didn't even think about that.
Fortunate Son, that kind of stuff. I put that in there. My daughters are like, oh, put in Traveling Band.
Yes.
Well, and then you look at all these bands that play Lead Belly songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, I mean, he's the legend that's never been appreciated.
No, he
Yeah.
hasn't.
You know?
He
Yeah,
hasn't at all.
Crazy.
You know, you hear me talk about tools a lot, and there's a reason for that. Because we couldn't do what we do as car guys without tools. And we always need quality tools. And I always encourage people to find the best quality tool that you can. And for me, you know, after years of doing this, decades now, I haven't found anybody better than Cornwell Tools. And they've been in business for 100 years. So obviously they know what they're doing. They continue to push forward in their tools and their boxes. They continue to push forward in new technology. I'm always eager to see what they come out with, and I will recommend them many times to you guys. There is a difference between buying something American and buying something that's an overseas imitation. And you guys that are car guys and tool guys, you know what I'm talking about. So check them out, Cornwell Tools. You won't be disappointed. So let's talk about how COVID has affected your business. I mean, you guys have a hot rod shop. You guys do a
Yeah.
lot of high-end work. Are you guys still getting work?
We are.
Are people
Yeah.
coming in?
They're calling Misha. I mean, we're getting work. It's just, it's interesting the change of
Type of work,
work.
really.
Yeah, really, what's
Yeah.
happening. You know,
And what kind of change are you seeing?
not so much full builds, but
Yeah.
you know, the stuff that's like been closeted for a long time that people are now like, you know, I've had time off. Now I've
Yeah.
been looking at this stuff, so let's get this rolling. Let's get this done.
Are you seeing a lot of old 80s and 90s rods being redone?
Yeah, I
I
mean,
see a lot of
yeah,
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's
The old pastel paints and the old
yeah.
tweed interior. Oh, I hated those when they were done.
yeah. Well, shame on tweed. You know, I mean, that ruined a decade.
You did. And all the painted grills and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You know, me personally, what I like is contrasted colors. Like your cheetah, for instance. You know, I like that color, and then you add a flat that color.
Yeah.
You know, little flip flops of colors. You know, and I think with what you're doing with the headers and everything, it's just gonna pop real well. You know, with that color because
Yeah.
it's a flat. It's not everything just bang in your face. You know, so it's got a lot of stuff going on. That's what I like.
Yeah, that car can't have a lot of chrome on it.
I changed the
No.
subject completely there.
You did. You totally evaded a question
I did.
brilliantly
I
there.
did.
Because you don't want to talk about it. I saw what you did.
Well,
Well, what do you think about that then, as far as the industry and as far
The
as what's
industry?
happening for you guys as business-wise?
well, I can tell you what my personal opinion was when this first happened. Then I told her, it kept me up because I told her I was nervous about this. I said, we may have to switch and go into collision and do
Yeah.
hot rods on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah,
I said,
Yeah.
because people are still wrecking cars.
Oh, yeah.
and
they
I know
are.
collision.
They're wrecking them just fine.
You know, but the problem is, it's like you gotta retool everything. I have the
Yeah.
tools to do it,
Yeah,
but I don't have the stylish shop to do it. If that makes sense,
No.
they're two
Yeah.
different beasts.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I told her we might have to go to that. You know, it's just, but it hasn't slowed down.
yeah.
It hasn't.
You know,
slowed
and I
down.
was
Yeah.
when we talked on the phone, I was like, man, and you told me, it's like, no, I didn't think we're gonna be fine, and I was
Yeah.
like, man, I hope so.
Oh yeah, yeah. What do you think about SEMA being canceled? Was that a surprise to you?
No, unfortunately.
You kind of saw it coming.
Yeah.
She saw it coming. I was surprised because it's Vegas. You know, when they say Sin City, I figured, you know, people that come out there want to come out there.
It's a different kind of sin.
It is a different kind of sin.
Well, I get
But nobody
that.
wants the liability, and that's,
Yeah, that's
the
what
thing
it
with
is. It
COVID.
boils down to
boils
liability.
down to lawyers and liability. And
Yeah.
if someone gets sick, who's going to pick up the tab?
Yeah, not only that,
So-
it's such an international show.
It is.
And nobody's traveling.
No.
You know, and it's
I
just,
mean-
even though that's still a couple months out, people they're kind of freaked out.
They are.
Well,
know.
you look at.
Well, and a whole bunch of countries are having a second wave, and so do
Yeah.
you,
Do you believe
bring
the second wave?
everybody? Do
Yeah.
you bring everybody in that's getting new diagnosed? Do you?
Yeah.
And you can't social distance in SEMA if you've been. There's no.
Oh, it's
social,
impossible.
Yeah, there's no
They
social
put out that
distancing.
video about wearing masks and stuff. It's like, these are car guys. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, the,
Yeah,
the problem with.
everyone's
we
so
don't even wear
packed in.
safety glasses when we should.
Yeah, I know. You're asking us.
It's
We have
like,
cuts
oh,
on our hands
you're
for using
caustic
razor.
chemicals, man. Come
Yeah.
on.
No, I mean The mask thing to me is just a stretch. You know, it's a comfort feeling for people to say, well, you came in my business, you had a mask on, where I'm not doing anything. Because you and I both, and you know that if you want truly covered, you need fresh air system.
Yeah.
You can't rely on
And
a
we
piece
have
of
those
cloth.
too.
Yeah. But they're really awkward and clumsy to walk around in, you
Walk
know?
around like Darth Vader. Luke.
When this first came out, I called my dad and I sent him a picture of a guy in one of those Tyvek suits. I said, I think I'm gonna go run through Walmart here in Paola with the Tyvek suit. Well, which way did he go? Copying that. He's like, you better not. So I didn't. So.
Yeah. No, probably not. But I did like the guy. I think I saw a photo of a guy wearing a scuba outfit.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, just to be
Flippers and
funny.
all?
Yeah, the whole get up, and I was like, that's hilarious.
The COVID, it's my problem. My only problem with anything right now is that it's become so negative and so political.
Yeah.
That you could argue with your mom.
It's hard to get
Because
the truth.
the numbers aren't right, and we all know that, but nobody is coming out and saying, well, how can we get the right numbers?
Yeah.
We haven't figured out how to do that.
Yeah.
Because we've politicized everything to the fact that it's a self-gain for every town.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with it, you know, if you want to get to the bottom of it, and that's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, the thing that I know for sure is that car people will always keep working on cars.
They will.
And they seem to, when things get worse, guys work on cars, using the term lightly, guys and girls, they work on their vehicles more because they need that release. And
They
there's
do.
that creative thing going.
Oh, yeah.
And we have seen
Well,
a
and it's
rise
solving a
in
problem.
people. Yes. And to be able to go out and go, you know, I fixed that radiator hose or I did that thing gives you a sense of accomplishment.
Yes.
So we keep really pushing that. But I tell you what, if, you know, we were really heavily involved when the Cash for Clunkers thing came out.
Oh, that was bad.
And so we really have to keep an eye out as an
Yeah.
industry that, you know, after they go after the gun lobbies or whatever, that they don't come after the car and the automotive thing.
Yeah.
Because the regulations are there. And that's where SEMA has been important.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that-
the other thing is we don't have one voice, like NRAs, and I'm going
No.
to use that example.
No,
as
that's
an
a
example.
prime example. I use it
Yeah.
all the time.
You know, we don't have a one voice. You know,
Yeah.
SEMA was our one voice, but the problem is SEMA is exclusive to one voice.
Yeah.
It's not for Joe down the street that's got an 89 IROC that
Yeah.
feels the same way we do and has got no say in anything.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I mean. It's like you have to be a business owner. You have to put a lot into it to go there.
Yeah.
It's not just, hey, I showed up and I
Yeah.
bought my ticket.
You can't get in, yeah.
No.
It kind of is, but they make you
It's
go
not
through some
open to the
hoops.
public,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, it's not.
And it's not a car show.
It's not.
It is not
It's
a car show
No,
at
it's
all.
not a car show. It's we need more shows like yours, but you know as well as I do that they control kind of what you put on there right now, as far as how you put it on and what you portray.
Yeah.
You know, you can have the greatest intention, but it can be spun.
Oh
you know,
yeah. No,
you know.
you have to be in control of the content.
Yeah.
That's the key. That's one of the reasons I stopped doing trucks and started doing gears. Is that you have to control that.
Yeah.
And just like Mike Rowe does not get a dime for any of the reruns of Dirty Jobs,
Right.
I don't get a dime for any of the reruns of trucks.
Well, you're probably a better man for it.
Yeah, probably.
You know, as much as it's
Yeah.
painful, but you know, everybody knows you from trucks to where you are now. So, I mean,
yeah.
it's a stepping stone.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Nobody knows me, and I've been on TV shows. I'm a nobody.
You're that chop cut rebuild guy.
Hey, you're that dude.
You're that one guy. That one dude.
That's fine. That's fine. I did get recognized one time.
You
Yeah.
did. We
And
were
it
at
was the
Vintage
most-
Stock.
Oh, my, it was so awkward.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we go to Vintage Stock, and we're kind of nerds, her and I,
Yeah.
when it comes to old. We like old things. We went in there and we bought every season of MASH.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll fall asleep to MASH at nighttime because it's pretty innocent. You
Yeah.
know, it's not this in-your-face, you know, barrage of
And it's
negative
funny.
stuff.
Yeah.
And we were buying the last one. This guy kept walking around, looking at me. I'm like, what in the world? And I told her, I was like, I don't know what they're doing. And then she goes, oh, that's him. He's from the show. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, now it officially got weird for me. Oh, I take it twice. It's happened twice. So we have motorcycles too. And we
See,
used
he's
to
counting.
He's starting to
He's-
count.
he's
It's
counting.
getting there.
He's starting to
It's
count.
seating. It's seating.
Well, no,
It's
no,
seating.
no.
Well,
This happened
I
a long
mean,
time.
but
How dare you guys? This was awkward too, you have to admit, because I didn't do anything. We just pull in, we're on our Harleys, and we pull into this place in Eureka
yeah,
Springs.
we were staying a place for the night. I
and we
forgot
just
about
sitting on the
this.
porch, because they're little bungalows, you know,
Yeah.
and we're just kind of minding our own business. Hey, it's that guy from Chop Cut, and he just wouldn't leave me alone. And then
Yeah.
he found me on Facebook. And then he just,
yeah.
like you said, it
And he was a
kept
nice enough
blowing me up on
guy,
stuff, and you know, I
but
don't know how to
yeah.
act. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're not used to it, that's a really new situation.
And I'm pretty quiet, for the most part. I don't like people in my space. I wasn't prepared for it because I've never gone through that before, you know? I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just I didn't know.
I didn't know what
That's a famous last word.
it is.
Well, I didn't hurt anybody, so I mean, we're fine.
I would hope not.
One of the big challenges that faces restorers out there today is finding good quality original parts. And there's a lot of places out there that carry custom parts, but finding those original parts can be very difficult. And that's one of the reasons you hear me talk about LMC Truck all the time. Because if you're doing a truck project, Ford, Chevy, Dodge, doesn't matter what year, they carry everything, they have got the parts, those little screws and those nuts and those little fasteners that you can't find anywhere, you can find at LMC. So if you have a project, even if you're not working on a truck, but you might need some hardware or something, that is Ford, Chevy, or Dodge related, you need to have an LMC catalog, because I guarantee you, they got something that you can use.
So how's COVID affected your business?
We haven't slowed down at all.
That's good.
But keep in mind, we're providing content that everybody wants to see right now.
Yeah.
So we've had to kind of change the way that because everybody wants more content.
Right.
And that's a good thing, but you
is.
also have to have sponsors and people that
Oh,
line
yeah.
up. So, and right now, as long as people are
Lined
buying
up,
and
yeah.
doing that thing, that's working. But eventually, if people are not working, they don't have money.
They don't, yeah.
And this thing turns by money,
I know.
Yeah.
Even if you're, I talk to guys all the time about budget builds.
Yep.
Even if you're doing a budget build, there's money involved.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
paying
well,
something.
You
Well,
have
even
to
if
pay
it's
something
time.
in
Time
time.
costs money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you're not working and you're working on something, you're spending money that you don't have.
You're not getting
because you're not
paid.
made. You're
Yeah.
not making it. So.
Yeah.
We have to explain that to a lot of people, because they'll see, well, you do this and you own this and this and that, and you can build this a lot cheaper than I can't.
Yeah.
Where I'm saving on labor, I'm spending it because I'm doing it, not making it.
Yes.
So where you go to job from 8 to 5, you're making money
Yeah.
no matter what. If I stop 8 to 5 during a work week and I'm working on something of my own, I'm double losing.
Yes.
Because I'm paying and
Yeah.
I'm spending.
That's probably the biggest mistake that people make when they build a vehicle, even if they're an enthusiast, is they look at what they spent for the parts
Yeah.
and they never factor in their time.
Nope.
And your time is valuable, just like you said.
Yeah, everybody's time is valuable.
Yeah.
And you all have an hourly rate. And so what's your hourly rate? And then what are the pieces you can't do? What's that hourly rate?
Yeah.
And you have to think about it. And that's hard.
Yeah.
And that's hard to know.
And I feel guilty, just like, because I feel their pain because they want something. I
Sure.
get it.
And that's why you
Yeah.
need Misha, though.
Yeah, I get it, because I will be like, oh yeah, well I told this person,
Yeah.
She's like, no, you didn't. Okay, well
Well, that's we talked about before, most car people are passionate.
They're very
If you're any
passionate.
good, you're passionate.
Right.
You love it. You do it for free. If you just,
Yeah.
somebody throw you a hamburger and you
Right.
eat,
Oh,
you're good to go.
Yeah.
Well, you can't run a business that way. So there needs to
Unfortunately,
be
no.
somebody music's the same way. Most guys will play for free, and you can't do that and make a living. So somewhere along the line, you have to be going, okay, here's my hourly rate.
Yep.
Here's what I charge, and you have to stick to that. That's not easy.
It isn't.
For somebody that's willing to do it for free.
Well, I
It
learned a
isn't.
phrase a
So,
long
yeah.
time ago from somebody, and I love it, and I use it a lot when I have to explain something when I work on somebody's car.
Yeah.
I'm a sensuous person.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to work on your car and do extra things sensuous there. So
Yeah.
I'm not sensuous towards your car, if you understand what I mean. So I'm
That's
sensuous.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that a long time ago, and
Yeah.
it just stuck with me. I can be very sensuous, but
Yeah.
not at this point.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna have to use that one. That's hilarious.
Since she was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I told that one guy that, he's like, "What?" I was like, "Well, you don't go to Burger King,
Yeah.
and get a hamburger and fries, and you run out of fries, and they're going to hand you some more. It's not
Yeah.
how that works. You got to buy them again."
That's a really good illustration. That's
Yeah.
really good.
That's what a guy told me a long time ago. Well, I worked for a guy years ago, and he had a great point to somebody that came in and wanted us to work late and do this and that. He goes, "Well, those guys out there, those are their tools.
Yeah.
I pay them a wage to buy those tools. I can't expect them to work out of that toolbox for free. You're asking me to ask them to do that? I can't do that."
Yeah.
And that was pretty big of him to say. I thought, I was like, wow, that
Yeah.
blows me away. Because those tools do cost money at the
Yeah.
end of the day. And it's a lot. People don't realize
And
it.
it's really easy for somebody to undervalue themselves.
It is.
I do
Or
it all
somebody
the
to
time.
overvalue themselves when they
Yes.
have no skills.
Yep.
But the thing is, like, I was talking to my daughter about this the other day. She wants to get into the music industry, and she's been, doing some session work.
Right.
And it's like, I told her, I said, you have to understand, if somebody comes to you because they want to buy your skill.
Yep.
Your skill has a value. You have to find out what that is. And it's the same thing with the shop. If somebody comes in, they're there because they know you know what you're doing. And they expect a certain level of work. So you better not only give them that level of work, but
Or
they have to
beyond.
pay for it.
Yeah. There's nothing with more, giving them better,
Yes.
but giving them less, if you can sleep at night with yourself, there's something wrong with you.
No, that always catches up. That always catches up too. You can't rip people off.
No, I'm not. I will lose. And every job I've ever worked on, I guarantee you, I've given no less than 40 hours of my own labor for free.
Yeah.
No less. I mean, I hate to see what I put on most people's jobs because I don't write it down. I just, it's got to get done.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and if I'm paying him to do something and I'm on the other end, these people may not be able to afford two $65 an hour tabs. So I'll just a couple hours I'll work on. And she gets mad at me, but it's just something that has to happen in order for things to move forward.
Yeah.
And that's the bad thing about our industry when you redo old cars is that we're $65 an hour per person.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that when they sign. We have contracts, and that's just how it's spelled out, and that's the real world is that, it's $65 an hour. It sounds like a lot, but go hire a lawyer then.
Yeah, $300 an hour or more.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, that's the way I look at it.
Okay, one thing that makes you guys really unique is that you're a couple. And you
Don't tell anybody.
and you do a shop together. Yes. And you're male and female.
Right. Oh my
There's
God.
so many variables.
How do you make that work? How do you keep from killing each other?
Well, the funny
No,
thing is,
really. I mean, a lot of people
No, it's a
couldn't do
good
that.
question. It
Well,
is a good question.
I mean, we go through phases just like everybody goes,
Yeah.
as couples go through phases, but we also know that it's healthy to have your time.
Yep.
She'll go with her girlfriends or whatever, and I'll go do my thing, but I haven't really done my thing in 2 years because of building
And
a
who
house.
tells you to go do your thing all the time and you don't?
Well, I'm a gearhead. I
Yeah.
look at parts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to buy this part. I want to buy that part.
So
Well, that might be
basically-
your thing. That just,
Yeah, I'll leave and that'll be his time.
Well, I mean, we get along really well most of the
Oh,
time.
obviously, I can see that.
There's times where we're just like, oh my God.
Yeah, when you're around each other every day, all day, there's a day like, I probably just need a little bit of space. Like,
Yeah.
because,
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
only,
that's good. That's great that
Yeah.
you recognize that. And,
Yeah.
we can admit when we're both being butts.
Yeah.
I'm more of one to admit it than she is, but I mean,
Well.
I feel like you made comments like that earlier with,
No,
my
yes.
buddy always got me in trouble.
that's just the
Like-
way it works.
That drive home gets longer and longer every statement.
I don't know where you're gonna ride. No,
No, I think it's great. I
we get
love
along.
it. I think more people could do it if they would look at that. You guys are a really good model for that.
Well, all we try to do is be very transparent.
Yep.
And like if we're mad, just say it.
Yeah.
Say what's on your mind. Don't hold it in, because that,
Yeah, that's awful.
it's
Because
one
it
of those-
eventually comes out anyway.
It
And it's
does,
worse.
and
It's
then
worse,
it
way
comes
worse,
out
you know?
the way you don't want it to come out.
And then we're pretty good at being vocal, I would say, towards if somebody's in a bad mood. I mean, you don't mess with her between 6 and 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's her time. If she hasn't had coffee, you just leave her
That's
alone.
oh yeah.
You go out in the shop and you do your thing.
I would like to say he's wrong, but I've had more than one friend tell
Yes.
me that.
You know,
But
it's just-
What kind of coffee do you like?
I like strong black coffee.
Okay.
And so I will
With no
get up-
sweetener or anything.
I don't know.
Sometimes sweetener. It
Like I said,
depends.
it's not my time.
Oh yeah. So you're not even in the room.
No,
It's like
it's
no
not
coffee,
room.
no nothing.
No.
I do coffee, and then
Does she have her own little hut that she sits
Yeah,
in?
she. Well,
Just me, she out there in the hut with her coffee.
That's right.
she's in her
that's right.
office area just.
Because I get used to
Too
my
early.
day. Nope, don't talk to me. I have
Too
to read
early.
emails. I got to figure out what's going on today. Have my caffeine.
What did I
and then we'll
say?
be good.
What did I say? Okay, I'm going back out in the shop.
So are you very organized? Very.
Yes.
So you lay out your schedule and.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to be that way. And then when it doesn't go that way, I look at him and I'm like, you're messing with my system.
I wing it. I'm like, I
Oh,
gotta
you're a wing it. So you guys really are opposites in that
Yeah,
way.
well, I get things done though.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, I'm sure she does too. Just a
Yeah,
different
no, I
way of
mean,
doing it.
she has her methodical whiteboard.
Yeah.
I have it up here, and I know, okay, I got a half hour. I can get this done in a half hour.
Yeah.
And this is maybe I get it done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I just know how to
Yeah.
make myself motivate myself.
Yeah.
I know how to motivate Andy too.
Yeah.
I yell a little bit, kick a couple
Nice,
things.
it's amazing.
He goes, "You're being stupid." Okay.
That's awesome. It's cool to work with somebody that you've known for a long time.
Yeah, well, we can actually, we're like family, so we're not mean to each other, but if we're getting on each other's nerves, we know it.
Yeah. Well, listen, this has been great, man. Keep in mind, this podcast is made possible by our friends at LMC Truck and our friends at Cornwell Tools. All right, that wraps it up for us today. It is time for you to get out there, start working on something, build something with your own two hands, send in your questions, send in your pictures, let us know what you're working on. All right, we'll see you later.